Hey everybody, it's John Tabita. How you doing today? Hey, I want to talk to you guys about something that I think a lot of companies, a lot of businesses struggle with. I've struggled with it myself, and it's the whole concept of emotional branding. How do you target or hit your client, your customer, on an emotional level? Because if you don't, you're not memorable. So something happened the other day. My son, who's 14, he was taking a shower, and he was taking a shower in my shower. And when I walked in, I noticed that the body wash he was using, it smelled pretty good. So I asked him, hey, what are you using there? And he goes, Old Spice. And I laughed and I said, when I was a kid, Old Spice, that was my grandfather's cologne. And he's 14. He don't know really anything about marketing, but he was smart enough to put the pieces together. And he says, well, Dad, if they didn't figure out a way to get young people like me to like it, well, nobody would buy their product. And that was true. So I remembered that, and he went on to say, that they started running commercials about what am I trying to say? Guys busting through walls and explosions, and he says, anytime you do something like that, well, you're gonna appeal to kids like me. And I told him, yeah, that's true. And then I thought back to the commercials when Old Spice first started to rebrand themselves, and they ran those commercials they called the man your man could smell like, right? They had the muscular guy without a shirt, riding on a horse backwards, and they were trying to appeal primarily to women because they knew that women are the ones that buy body wash for their men. But what was funny when they ran those commercials was they went viral all over YouTube, and my two sons, they would watch them all the time, and they weren't even they hadn't even hit puberty yet, so they weren't going to be using it, but they just thought those commercials were so funny, and they watched them over and over and over again. And then, of course, the commercials that came out later, they were the ones with the explosions and the guys bursting through the walls. So, as my son and I talked about that, I told him, you used to watch those commercials all the time, before you even used Old Spice. And he's like, well, yeah, so see, they worked. The branding effort, that the emotion that those commercials captured in them by them watching them, it made it memorable. So, and by the way, let me tell you guys that if anybody's following me, watching me, I have no clue because something is not working right on my Periscope app. So normally I would see down here, I would see, in the corner how many people had joined. I would see people joining and asking questions and making comments, and I'm seeing none of that. So there's something malfunctioning, and I've sent a support ticket to Periscope, but they've yet to respond to it, so I don't know what's going on. So I can't see any comments. I'm clueless if anybody's even following me, although when I watch the replay I can see. So if that's the case and you're making a comment, make a comment, and I'll try to respond back to you on Twitter because I'll be able to see it on the replay. So follow me on Twitter if you like, and shoot a question off to me if you'd like to. That'd be great. I'll try to respond to those as well. So to get back to my point, so how does a business that isn't exciting, maybe you have a boring business and you think what you sell is boring, it's not really exciting, it's not Apple, it's not Pepsi, it's not anything exciting like that. So how do you appeal to your customers' emotions? Because if you just do a product dump, hey, this is what I do, this is what I sell, and even if you try to talk about the benefits, if you don't communicate, which is more than just giving out information. See, giving out information is just, that's one thing, but communicating is getting through to the person and reaching them on an emotional level. If you don't do that, then they're not going to remember your product or your service. And how do you stand out amongst everybody else that's a Me Too business that does the same thing as everybody else does? So we've struggled with that. I've struggled with that personally when I had my web design business. As a company, the company I work for, the same thing. We sell local search marketing, and that's really, yeah, as a marketer that excites me, but it doesn't excite a local plumber, it doesn't excite a local dentist, it doesn't excite our client base. To them, it's something they don't really want to talk about, they don't want to deal with marketing, they don't understand it, so it's not very exciting to them. So I see a little bubble starting to pop up right at the bottom of my screen, and I know that's somebody either joining or trying to make a comment, but what's happening is it gets stuck down there. It won't float up, so I can't see your comments. So I'm really sorry. Don't know what's going on with my app here. But again, go ahead and make comments or ask questions, and I'll see them on the replay, and I'll try to respond to you in some way on Twitter or something like that. So hopefully at least there's one person watching. I'm so glad, because I'm clueless here if you are. So how does a average local or just any small business who sells a product or service that's not super, hey, I see some hearts. Thanks for that. I can see the hearts. I can't see who's on. I can't see comments, but thanks for the hearts. Appreciate that. So how, if you're a business owner, maybe you're a consultant. Maybe you sell web design. Maybe you sell SEO. Maybe you sell septic tanks. Wow, not very exciting. How do you touch their emotions? So let me tell you what we're doing as a company and sort of the breakthrough I got just recently. We are going to run some display ad campaigns, and I'm putting together 3 different sizes of ads, and you can't say much in a display ad. You got the banner at the top, you got the medium rectangle, you got a small amount of space. It's like a billboard on the street. You got a small amount of space. I got a picture, I got some text, learn more, click here. And what I typically do is I put a lot of effort into the design and very little effort into the landing page. Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? So as I'm designing the landing page, I'm seeing what I'm writing, the copy, and it's the same old boring crap. We do search engine optimization, which nobody knows what that means except a marketer. We do social media management. We do web design. It was just a product dump. No excitement, no emotion. So I started thinking, what frustrates our customers? What makes them anxious, frustrated? And the things that frustrate a local small business owner is digital marketing. It all changes so fast. There's social media. There's apps like Periscope. There's all kinds of things that are constantly changing, and they can't keep up with it. They don't understand it. You see, years ago, marketing was simple. You took out a Yellow Page ad, a newspaper ad. You got a sign outside of your business or on your truck. Maybe you sent out some direct mail, some postcards, and you were good to go. And you could generate a lot of business, a little bit of word of mouth. But now you might still have to do all those same things, but you've got to do so much more. There's, do I run a group on? What social media platform should I be on? I don't really understand, how to build a website. I can try to do it myself because there's plenty of tools that let you do that, but I really don't know what I'm doing. I don't really know how to write. I don't really know about how to optimize the page. I don't really know about all that stuff. And if there was only, and then people are calling them, salespeople, reps, marketing companies, constantly calling them, emailing them. We can optimize your page. We can get you on page 1 of Google. And they're frustrated and they're confused and they don't know where to turn. So the emotion I can tap in to in this instance is their frustration, their confusion, they're not knowing where to turn. So I'm starting off by saying, are you frustrated and confused by online marketing? Is it changing so fast that you don't know where to turn or who to turn to? Does it bother you when you see your competitors online showing up in the search results and you don't? And you don't know what to do about it? See, I'm trying to tap into emotions there. And yes, these are negative emotions and they're frustration and confusion, but that's okay because that's what they're feeling. So it's okay to tap into an emotion because people are going to remember the emotion before they're going to remember the product or service you sell. So for example, the way our brains are wired, the part of our brain that is the emotional part of our brain, it's our feeling brain they call it, our limbic brain, that part of our brain that controls emotion, it also controls our decision making. So nobody's going to do anything, nobody's going to act, nobody's going to buy from you, nobody's going to say yes to what you're selling if you don't target or hit them on an emotional level. Because the word emotion, the root of that word is also rooted in the word move. So nobody's going to move unless you hit them on an emotional level. It's emotions that cause us to act. And it's going to be the same thing with your clients. If you're not reaching them on an emotional level, they're not going to sign on the dotted line. They're not going to take the next step to hire you or buy from you. And that's because if you're only talking to them logically, logic does nothing to get somebody to act. Now, yeah, you need to create a logical argument because people buy on emotion and then they justify it with logic. So you need a logical base for them to go back to and say, oh yeah, these were the logical reasons of why I bought, so they can justify it in their own mind. That's how our brains work. That's why if you don't touch their emotions in some level, then you're not going to reach them. So I hope that makes sense. If you want to read more about this on our company website, I work for Haines Local Search. If you go to HainesLocal.com, and that's Haines, local.com, go to our blog section, and I've written an article about, it's called Market to Their Emotions. And I talk about this, I talk about some other experiences, I talk about how Alzheimer's patients will forget what happened, but they'll remember the emotion behind something that happened. So they might forget an event that happened the day before, but they might remember it, something that, if it was an emotional event, they'll remember the event. And our brains still work that way, whether it's a brain that isn't suffering from Alzheimer's or one that is. Our brains still work the same way. So I encourage you to go there, read that. Follow me on Twitter if you like. If you swipe from the side of the bottom, you'll see my Twitter handle, which is John Tabita. So, and again, I apologize. I can't see any comments, and I can't see who's commenting, or I can't see who's even watching the video. So hopefully somebody is. And again, I'll watch the replay, and I will try to respond to you if there's some questions on Twitter. Thanks, everybody. You have a great day.